Good evening. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone can hear me as well. I'm trying it slightly different tonight, so I'm just going to double check that I can actually hear myself. I can. That's all good. Right. Let's get into this then. Let's talk about the first game of the weekend. And for Arsenal fans, they'll be happy to know that we're talking about the London Derby. Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1. There is a question after this, but we'll get into the stats and the goals of the game first. So, Thomas Partey, Gabriel Jesus, and Xhaka with the goals for Arsenal. Ben White and Martinelli with the assists, because I know for the FPL fans that is important. Harry Kane with the penalty in the 31st minute, and Emerson Royale was sent off in the 62nd minute. Stats-wise, it was 64% possession for Arsenal, 9 shots on target for Arsenal, 3 for Tottenham, 22 shots in total for Arsenal, 7 shots for Tottenham. Touches, which is I always find very important, and passes, 750 compared to 468 for Tottenham, 565 passes compared to 307 passes for Tottenham. Corners were 5 for Arsenal, 2 for Tottenham. It was a very dominant performance by Arsenal. Two of the biggest talking points for me from this game was I do believe that Arsenal should have had a penalty. Eric Dyer on Jesus. For me, that's a penalty. I've looked at it at least 10 times today. Every time I've seen it, it's a penalty. And definitely the red card for Royale was very deserved. It was a dangerous challenge for me. Very horrible challenge, which could have damaged Martinelli's career. However, we're going to talk about this quick question here. Genuine hope under Arteta. I would say that there is hope. People that know me know that I work on a predictor, and for the first time in I can't even think of how many years I've been doing it now, but there's actually a 10% chance that Arsenal could actually win the title. So that is positive news for Arsenal fans. As for the Tottenham question, is Conte's style working at Tottenham? It's hard to say if it is, but it's easier to say that it's not, if that makes any sense. Because the style, for me, I've seen a lot of Tottenham games this season. I haven't been impressed with it, and I don't think a lot of Tottenham fans actually are themselves. Now, obviously, if you're getting wins and you're playing that way, it doesn't really matter. A win's a win. But when you lose in the manner that you do against Arsenal, it's going to hurt. Now, obviously, let's take the Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry out of it. If they perform that like that against someone else and lost 3-1, that would hurt just as much as it did against Arsenal. Obviously, with Arsenal, it's a bigger rivalry. Obviously, hurt a heck of a lot more because it's their nearest rivals. So yeah, it's a. I think long term, Tottenham should get wins by playing that way. You know, defensively they're okay. They could do with a couple of improvements personally, but they're all right. Just want to say big up to Moss. Hope you're doing well. 150 for FTSN. Let's go, Vamo. Like Arsenal, let's go right to the top. Exactly. Yeah, big up to everyone that's subscribed. I'm now on 150 subscribers, which is amazing. So yeah, big up to everyone that's done that for us. Really appreciate it. So let's get into the second game, which was Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0. Let's change the photo as well, because I have actually got photos for every single one. How about that? So Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0. Now, I've done a 0-0 this weekend. Trust me, this 0-0 is nothing about the one I will be talking about secondly. Obviously, no goals and assists to talk about. However, we'll go into the stats still. It was 42% possession for Bournemouth, 58 for Brentford. 1 shot on target for Bournemouth, 4 for Brentford. 13 shots for Brentford, 7 for Bournemouth. Touches, 703 for Brentford, 540 for Bournemouth. 530 passes, 375 for Bournemouth. Corners 7 for Bournemouth, 8 for Brentford. I'll be perfectly honest. I do think Brentford were unlucky not to win this. I think there was wasn't it like a header from Tony that was pretty much 1 yard in front of the goal, and somehow it was more of a clearance than it was a shot on target. So yeah, for me, it's crazy that. Good evening, Luke. Hope you're doing well, mate. So yeah, so my question on this one was: is Gary O'Neill stamping his mark on Bournemouth? I have to say, since he's come in, he's definitely made them harder to beat, and I wouldn't say their style's any different, but they're definitely more rigid at the back. Definitely finding ways to close teams out, and sometimes they do actually pose a threat themselves, which is always good for a team like Bournemouth. But yeah, I think he's been a good appointment. Obviously, it's caretaker at the moment. Obviously, a lot of rumblings going on behind the scenes with takeover and stuff. Whether or not that happens in the next few weeks, it's looking more and more likely that it will. But what I would say is I would not be surprised if there's a shock appointment that unfortunately Gary O'Neill loses his caretaker role. But I'm sure Gary O'Neill will hopefully get to stay on in the backroom staff. He definitely deserves it. Cheers, Mars. Hope you're doing well, mate. I know you're busy at work at the moment. But yeah, it's an interesting one, the Bournemouth situation. It's going to be interesting what happens long term for that. Let's get into the next game, which is Crystal Palace Chelsea. I've got a photo for this one too. So let's get into that game. Just got to find it on the screen here. So yeah, Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 2. Edouard with the goal for Crystal Palace. AU with the assist for all you FPL fans. Aubameyang and Gallagher for the goals for Chelsea. Thiago Silva and Pulisic with the assists. Now they're very important for people that play FPL. 36% possession for Crystal Palace, 64% possession for Chelsea, 3 shots on target for each team, 7 shots in total for Crystal Palace, 13 for Chelsea, 514 touches for Crystal Palace, nearly 800 for Chelsea, passes, 348 passes for Crystal Palace, 635 for Chelsea. I do believe that Chelsea deserved to win this. It wasn't the greatest performance, as always, from Chelsea this season, but this time they managed to get the win over the line. It was 5 corners to Palace and 2 for Chelsea, just for the people that like corners, which is mainly me probably. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and obviously you've got a question there about Chelsea. Is Eze edging top form for Crystal Palace? I believe he is actually. I think he's definitely coming back. Well, I'll have to get back into that in a minute, mate. But yeah, Eze edging top form. He's definitely performing very well right now. What I would say, which will be a worry for Crystal Palace, is if Eze continues his form, there's going to be the top, let's say the top 6, maybe top 7 if you want to include Newcastle with the money right now, is they will be looking at Eze as a very good potential signing here. I was going to get into some comments before I go into the next game. Arsenal second place spot, Moss looking smarter and smarter by the day, and with the Saliba being silky smooth, amazing last season, people slagged it off not being Premier. Hate that statement. Sorry, Bobby. Man, that was heartbreaking to the real. Losing to Galzino and a stupid Auber goal. Good job, Bobby. By the way, all weekend and today. Yeah, I've been busy all week, you know. Eze impresses me, but where is that Elise? That seemed like a real talent. Elise's coming back from injury, so he will be back. And to be honest, I rate Elise more than I do Eze, to be honest. But that's just me, maybe. maybe slightly biased because I've always liked Elise. So we're going to get into Fulham Newcastle. I have a photo for that one too. Let's find it on my screen now. There we go. So Fulham 1, Newcastle 4. Shalabar with a red card, was deserved before anyone questions it. Reed with the goal. Cabano with the assist for the FPL fans. Callum Wilson, Almiron with 2, and Longstaff with the 4th. Willock with 2 assists, and Bruno Guimaraes with 1 assist too. Let's get into stats. My computer wants to work. 31% possession for Fulham, 68 for Newcastle, 1 on target for Fulham, 10 shots on target for Newcastle, 3 shots for Fulham, 19 for Newcastle. Touches 423 for Fulham, 770 for Newcastle, 281 passes for Fulham, 605 passes for Newcastle, 1 corner for Fulham, 8 for Newcastle. Very well deserved Newcastle win. Obviously, they're going down to 10 men at 8 minutes is not going to help Fulham at all. But you can only win by winning, and Newcastle did that. Playing against 10 men sometimes is not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do. So, brilliant stuff from. So Moss saying here, unlucky Fulham, you think Mitrovic is fine, or is this the start of some injury stuff for him? He'll be all right. He's a tough lad, isn't he? Let's be honest. What's with those new jersey colours for the Magpies? I have literally no idea, mate. No idea. I don't know what's going on with shirts and jerseys this year. It's a very strange one, I have to say. But the question here, Newcastle fans' loyalty is incredible. Now, the reason I put this in is because for people that aren't in the UK, there was rail strikes over the weekend. And for the Newcastle fans to have made that journey all the way to Fulham is incredible, especially without any railway. So big up to the Newcastle fans for managing to make it down there. It's incredible because Newcastle is one heck of a journey from London. It's one of the most northern cities in England. So to manage to get down there, support your team, obviously going home with 3 points probably makes the trip worth it. But, without rail and still making it, I think that's a brilliant thing to do. Let's get into the Liverpool game. And guess what? I've got a photo of this one too. Liverpool 3, Brighton 3. Let's get into this one. So Firmino with 2 goals and a Webster own goal. Salah and Diaz with the assists for all you FPL fans. Trossard with a hat-trick for Brighton. Welbeck and March with the assists. Stats-wise, it was 53% possession for Liverpool, 46 for Brighton, 7 shots on target for Liverpool, 6 for Brighton. 15 shots in total for Liverpool, though, 6 for Brighton, so they've literally 100% accuracy. Touches, 749 for Liverpool, 657 for Brighton. Passes, 530 for Liverpool, 460 for Brighton. Corners, 9 for Liverpool, 2 for Brighton. And what I would say is the question, to be honest, is what I've put. Defensive anxiety gripping Anfield. Now, I've spoken to a few Liverpool fans, ones that actually go there as well. And it is starting to actually happen now at Anfield, where they're actually getting a little bit panicky about their whole situation at Liverpool. They're not having this super confidence that they normally have. I said to them last season that I think you've got a bit of a drop-off coming now. And they were like, what are you on about? And I was like, just look at your defence and look at the midfield. There's something not quite right there. Now, a lot of people said to me last season, you're mad. And it's coming true, unfortunately. There is just a bit of a weakness there now. Yes, their front line is, world class, but if you can't have a world class front line, but an aging and pretty much falling down defensive line or midfield, So Liverpool are ones that are gonna have to panic a little bit. Moss saying here, I rated Newcastle last year and before season to make the jump to top 8 for sure. And my table predictions show that great club maybe need that Sunderland or Middlesbrough back for some derbies. Yeah, maybe. The Sunderland one, maybe not, because that one is one heck of a rivalry. Seagulls, Bobby called it as well. That new manager is real good. Italian, Serba. The Brighton boys were really flying for him. They wanted him before Potter, actually. I found out, which was interesting news. I had a chat with someone and they told me that they wanted him before Potter came in. So yeah, it's the midfield oldie nest that's brilliant. Yep, exactly. Breaking down in midfield, and we called that towards, and we did. Yep, we certainly did, mate. It's crazy how bad it's affecting them. All right, let's get into the next game: Southampton and Everton. And guess what? I have a picture. I'm proud of my pictures. So Southampton 1, Everton 2. Rebo with the goal for Southampton. Che Adams with the assist. Connor Cody and McNeil with the goals for Everton. Onana and Iwobi with the assists. Stats-wise, 54% possession for Southampton, 45 for Everton, 6 shots on target for Southampton, 5 for Everton, 22 shots for Southampton, 12 for Everton. Touches 670 for Southampton, 594 for Everton, 445 passes for Southampton, 380 for Everton, corners 7 for Southampton, 6 for Everton. Now, I wouldn't say Everton were lucky. Southampton probably could have had a draw, but my talking point with this one was obviously Lampard. Now, there is a lot of critics of Lampard. There's a lot this big debate of Gerrard and Lampard, who's better, and all. It's very similar to how it was when they were midfielders playing for Chelsea, Liverpool. Now the comparison is now turning to managers. I'm like, just hold back. Gerrard is a different situation. We'll get into that one. But Lampard, I do believe that he is winning over his critics. I saw it at Derby. I saw it at Chelsea when they had their transfer embargo, and you can see it at Everton now. He is very good at building up confidence within players that have lost confidence. He's not. I wouldn't say he's not very good with people with these big egos and people that need to be put in their place. He's very good at building up people. He's very good at doing that, and that's what Everton needed last season. And the last few games for last season for Everton were brilliant. That's what kept them up, and it's starting to happen again this season. The performance is there. He's built a very good defence with Connor Cody, Tarkowski, and Pickford there being 3 very big focal points. And Nana is a very big talent, one that I would have personally have had at Arsenal and would have happily have had him at Arsenal. So yeah, Everton 2 wins in a row. Let's just get back to. Sorry, I've missed some of your comments. Grace would love have Borough back up, but they struggling. Yeah, I know Grace would. The most likely out of those 2 clubs, and I have to apologise to Grace, is probably Sunderland. If either 2 teams are going to come up right now, it's going to be Sunderland. Kirby, good quality, good call, Bobby. Thank you. Everton 2 wins in a row. Yep. Signings paying off. Cody and McNeil. Well, I told you, McNeil's a good signing too. I agree, Bobby. I was never a big non-believer in Lampard, but he's proven me wrong. It seems. Southgate, watch out for Lampard maybe someday here. Lampard's one of those I would have in the under-21 system. Have a good batch of under-21s, then promote him and promote them at the same time. Put them in the national squad, and I guarantee there'll be an amazing bounce within that national team. That's what I think on this one. Everyone knows my Thoughts on Southgate? I'm definitely not going to get into that on here. Okay, West Ham 2, Wolves 0. Obviously, we all know this affected a manager's career, but let's talk about the game. The game wasn't the greatest, I have to be honest. I watched it. West Ham were the better side, but Wolves were a patchwork of a team. You know, you had 3 fullbacks on there. You had Ruben Neves playing as a centre-back. Yes, he's brilliant defensively, but that's not where you want him to be playing. You want him to be playing further up so he can actually create something and help the team. So yeah, it wasn't. Well, I'll get into the Bruno Lage thing in a minute because you'll hear my thoughts. I'm just getting to the stats. So it was 2 goals for West Ham with Skamaka and Bowen. No assists on either of those for that game. 39% possession for West Ham, 60 for Wolverhampton. 5 shots on target for West Ham, 4 for Wolves. 18 shots for West Ham, 15 shots for Wolves. 539 touches for West Ham, 754 for Wolves. Passes, 372 for West Ham, 564 for Wolves. Corners, 1 for West Ham, 6 for Wolves. What I will say, actually, before I get into the Bruno Lage, as I said, I did a watch along for this, and it was so frustrating. They brought Diego Costa on second half. Before Diego Costa came on, their corners were being dinked in with literally just Max Kilman that's got any height. And it was never anywhere near Max Kilman. Now, when Diego Costa came on, they started doing no balls from the corners. And I'm like, I think you've got this the wrong way around. It was a really frustrating game, really frustrating. And I'm pretty sure that's not down to the manager, these decisions on if you go high or low. So, yeah. So I'm going to go talk about Bruno Lage. The Bruno Lage situation for me is crazy. Yes, Wolves are underperforming. Yes, they're not doing very well right now. Is it Bruno Lage's fault? No. He's changed the formation which makes Wolves, for me, look better. But he's been extremely unlucky with injuries, suspensions. You know, it just the West Ham game had one defender, one centre back playing because you had Nathan Collins out suspended for that stupidity of a tackle that he did. That was not Bruno Lage's fault. They didn't tell him to do that kind of kick on the player like that. So, I do feel he was dismissed unfairly. I think you probably could have gave him till January at the most to see if there was improvement with the team, like fully developed, fully playing, no injury issues and stuff like that. But it is what it is. This is football. This is a results game. If you're not performing, then you're going to get the sacked. Good idea, Bobby, but under 21 is a bit down from Premier League club manager. Yeah, but what I would say is I think that's how it would work with Frank. Frank is very good with the youngsters. He's good at building their confidence. And I think if you had a good crop of under 21s that you could work with, then promote Lampard with them, then I think it would work. It's not something that's ever been done very often, but I think it could work. Lars was he really was dismissed. It was mad. You lived there. Who you think should come in for Wolves? Ed was calling this, but I did not see this. They are looking at I think it's the Sporting Lisbon coach. He was linked with the Chelsea job. I cannot think of his name right now. He's a youngster. They're all talking about him being the next Mourinho. Currently, he's the favourite, which doesn't surprise me once again because he's Portuguese. He's from the Portuguese league. Jose Mendes, or Jules Mendes, is obviously helping Wolves, however you want to look at it. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So let's get into the next game, which for any United fans, you might want to tune out now. So it was Man City 6, Man United 3. Let's get into the goals. So Foden with a hat-trick, Haaland with a hat-trick, Bernardo Silva with an assist, De Bruyne with 2 assists, Haaland with 2 assists, Sergio Gomez with an assist. For United, it was Anthony and Martial with 2 goals and Eriksen with 1 assist. Let's get into the stats. My laptop wants to let me. There we go. 53% possession for Man City, 46 for United, 10 shots on target, 8 for United, 22 shots for City, 12 for United, 703 for City, 603 for United, 551 passes for City, 476 for United. Corners 5 for City, 1 for United. Let's talk about this. Right. Firstly, what I will say is well done to Haaland for getting another hat trick, being the first player to get a hat trick within 8 games in the Premier League. I think the next person was Michael Owen in 40 something. I remember Moss showing me a stat about it. It's just bonkers. If anyone ever gets to see Haaland play live, take the opportunity, do it, because honestly, he's amazing to watch live. But my biggest problem with this game was I did a watch along, I did a thumbnail, put Haaland in there, put Casemiro in there, because I thought, yeah, Casemiro, this is the game for Casemiro, brilliant defensive midfielder in there in front of Varane and Martinez. I was guaranteed he'll be playing. Was not playing. I'm like, what are you doing? Now, who is this down to? Is this down to Ten Hag? Is there someone else telling him who to pick and who not to pick? I don't know. Something's not right there. You had McTominay and Eriksen as defensive midfielders. Eriksen's not a defensive midfielder. He's never been well known for defensive work. He's very good at attacking and creativity. You don't have him in front of your back line. I think we had Tariq doing the watch along with me, and he kind of blames Eriksen for the first goal. I see it slightly different, but he still was at fault, Eriksen personally. So yeah, it's a mad one for me. Moss saying here, oh, let's go back. Luke as well. Who do you think clubs will use the World Cup as a sacking season? As the Athletic reported, i.e. the likes of Gerrard and Rodgers could go. Gerrard, I think if they don't perform a bit better soon, he could go. Rodgers could go by tomorrow. Obviously, Leicester are playing at 8 o'clock tonight. I think if they get beaten by Forest at home, that's going to have to be bye-bye to Brendan, to be honest. I can't see Brendan surviving that. But yeah, to be honest, this is nothing to do with the World Cup. This is clubs expecting success a lot quicker than normal now. Chelsea obviously sacking Tuchel, but that was in the making for a while. Bruno Lage, I still think that's quite harsh. I kind of get their reasoning, but it's still a bit harsh. Obviously, the Scott Parker sacking, that's more to do with Scott Parker talking when he shouldn't be speaking. It was all an agreement with everybody there. So yeah, that's the one. Ruben Amorim. Yeah, Sporting showed us how to. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy Wolves are after. What you and Luke think about Keno saying Ronaldo being disrespected? Well, obviously, Keno is now being paid by United board, personally. He's not being disrespected. Ronaldo has been acting like a silly, immature child at United for me. Should have grown a pair. Yes, he's had some obviously personal issues which did affect him last season, but this season hasn't been that. he wanted out. He's been acting like he wants out, so get yourself out there. Big ups, Bobby's Norwegians are amazing. It's always weird. Yep. I think they're selling Mel McTominay. Cannot get anything for Slabhead. I'll be surprised if they sell McTominay, mate. I haven't seen the full conversation yet between Keane and Richards yet, Moss, but we'll let you know my thoughts when I do see it. Big up to Luke. So they're playing McTominay. Always seems Fred and Casemiro better. Something's not right there for me. I'm still going to stick with this comment that I just don't think everything is right at United. For some reason I've typed that twice. Oh no, 3 times. There we go. Here's the last one. Dear. I have got to talk about this game. I don't want to, but I have to. It's the Premier League, and I've literally put him up there, Stuart Atwell, because I do put him to blame for this game. It was awful. So it was Leeds 0, Villa 0. It was the worst game I have seen in the Premier League for a very long time, and I'm not even joking about this. Sinistera was sent off after 48 minutes. Now, what I will say, if Sinistera gets sent off for those 2 yellow cards, then Leon Bailey should have been sent off for very similar challenges and similar foul. And he wasn't. It was very bitty because of silly fouls. They weren't not fouls, they were fouls. They were just, it's a very feisty game. It's been a rivalry that's up and down for a few years, kicked off again in 2019. For anyone that can't remember, there was a goal that was scored against Villa by Leeds. Something happened in the game. Bielsa ordered his Leeds players to let Aston Villa score a goal. I think the only player that wouldn't let that happen so easily was Liam Cooper. There was a bit of fisticuffs. A lot of anger came from that game. It's been a bit bitty ever since. There was a friendly 11 weeks ago in Brisbane. It all fired up there as well. So, yeah, it's just a mad game. Didn't enjoy it at all, to be honest. It's probably awful. Right, so possession for Leeds was 43%, 56% for Aston Villa, 1 shot on target for Leeds, 7 for Villa, 6 shots for Leeds, 19 for Aston Villa, and to be fair, most of those did come after Leeds went down to 10 men. Touches 553 for Leeds, 663 for Villa, 375 passes for Leeds, 479 passes for Villa. Corners, 2 for Leeds, 9 for Villa. And for this, just one game, I will talk about fouls conceded. 23 fouls conceded by Leeds and 12 for Villa. Now, that is, I have to say, actually, we'll do this as a fair comparison. We'll go into Leeds, the Man United derby, right? Proper rivalry. We'll also do Arsenal Tottenham as well, actually. Fouls conceded 3 for Arsenal, 3 for City, 9 for United, right? And then the Arsenal game was, let's have a quick, 10 each. 10 each. And that is proper rivalries. So that just shows you how bitty that game was. It was a horrible game. Didn't enjoy it one bit. Yeah, it was just a horrible game. Right, now we will go into the best part of the table, especially for Moss, because Moss will love this part. So I'll take these pictures off, so you will have to see me for a little bit. I do apologise. Let's just share the screen so you can have a look at the table before we finish for the day. Okay, so Arsenal are in first, played 8 on 21 points. Man City are in second, played 8 on 20 points. Tottenham are in third, played 8 on 17 points. Brighton in fourth, played 7 on 14 points. Chelsea are in fifth, played 7 on 13 points. Man United played 7. They're in 6th, and they've got 12 points. Newcastle are in 7th, played 8, 11 points. Fulham are in 8th, played 8, 11 points. Liverpool are down in 9th, played 7, got 10 points. Brentford are in 10th, played 8, 10 points. Everton, 11th, played 8, 10 points. Leeds are in 12th, played 7, are at 9 points. Bournemouth are in 13th, played 8, 9 points. Villa are in 14th, played 8 on 8 points. West Ham are up to 15th, played 8 on 7 points. Southampton are in 16th, played 8, 7 points. Crystal Palace are in 17th, played 7 on 6 points. Wolves are down to 18th, played 8 on 6 points. Nottingham Forest are in 19th, played 7 on 4 points. And Leicester, foot of the table, on 20th, played 7 on 1 point. That's how mad this season has been. Honestly, it's crazy. Yeah, I know what you're on about. Not that kind of biddy. Brighton versus Chelsea is when Potter derby. Mate, I haven't got a clue. It's mad that after 8 games played, we're 11 points of Liverpool. It is mad. Yes, Arsenal done really, really well to be there, but Liverpool played really, really badly. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. There's going to be a very short stream anyway. So tomorrow night we've got Rebel doing fantasy football talk. I think he's doing a show in the morning as well. Watch out for that. Wednesday we've got Ollie doing the Modric show at 8. And Thursday we've got an Arsenal watch along of Arsenal versus Bodo Glimt. And there might be a guest co-host for that one. Friday, don't think there's anything happening Friday as of yet, as I know. Saturday, I'll be back doing Brighton versus Tottenham watch along, and on Sunday I'll be doing Arsenal versus Liverpool watch along. But right now, guys, I really appreciate you being here as always. But I'm definitely out of here. I'm still tired from the weekend, but appreciate everyone being here as always. But right now, I'm out of here. Take care, everyone.